In both the writings by Alice Bailey and in Theosophical Teachings, the importance of following the Yoga Sutras is critical. In the Bailey writings, knowing how to go into samadhi is also considered the primary prerequisite for doing white or soul magic. This video series by Dr. Lisa Love examines why. Dr. Lisa Love has studied 5 translations of the Yoga Sutras in depth and will use that knowledge throughout this series.
Patanjali may have been one individual, but scholars also feel it could have been more than one person who used the name Patanjali over the centuries. Either one or more of these Patanjalis have been said to have written the Mahabhasyā and the Yoga Sutras, as well as coming up with the medical system of Ayurveda. Most scholars claim that Patanjali lived around the 2nd century BCE. Some place him around 400 BCE and claim he was also known as Samkhya. Regardless of his true origin or true identity, one thing is clear. His Yoga Sutras have stood the test of time and remain as a major source of guidance in step-by-step processes to help one achieve yoga or union and self-realization. Most people live life caught up in what is known as the world of the 5 senses, the outer world, comprised of what we see, hear, touch, taste, and smell. This manifest world consumes most people's time and attention as they try to understand how to survive in the world, get along with others, and achieve and maintain enough power to get what they want. But the stress of this world rarely brings the happiness and peace we are seeking as we attempt to juggle and manage the demands of this world. Eventually, we may question the world of the 5 senses and ask, is this all there is? Is life merely about eat, drink, and be merry as a means to helping us cope with the constant stress of daily life? And after we have done enough of this, do we simply drop our bodies and go to a heaven of some sorts, or, God forbid, a hell? Or worse, do we just become worm food? Is there more to life than what the realm of the 5 senses reveals to us? If so, what? Thousands of years ago, wise sages attempted to answer that question and discovered a way to live a more satisfying life and achieve greater happiness. Their answers were passed on from generation to generation and eventually written down by a sage or rishi known as Patanjali. The answers and the way to true happiness and peace they discovered involved a different approach than most people engage in. They advocated shutting off the world of the 5 senses to enter something known as samadhi. They found that by entering samadhi, we would discover and reveal the self, or who we really are, as infinite, boundless beings, sat, consciousness, chit, and bliss, ananda. If we engaged in the practices that led us to samadhi long enough, we would even reach enlightenment or kaivalya. But to get there, we had to practice chitta vritta nirodha, or restraint, nirodha, of the modifications, vrittis, of the mind, the chit. In short, we want to remove the mind coverings that keep the brain too active to see who we really are. But what are these vrittis? They are the 4 layers that cover our ability to realize the self, comprised of sensations that happen when we are engaging our physical bodies in the outer world, emotions that occur when the world impacts us in either a positive or negative way, thoughts that keep us always engaged with the world out there and what we think and believe about it, the separated self that makes us think we are individual, unique, and better or worse than the people around us. When these vrittis are cleared away, our true self is revealed in samadhi. In many traditions, This is known as moksha, enlightenment, kaivalya, or initiatory experiences. However, samadhi is not something we achieve. It is not a prize we win. Samadhi is simply the realization of what always already exists, like the sun that we see when the clouds are cleared away. The clouds are the vrittis that we are attempting to clear to realize the self that always already is there. By entering into samadhi over and over again, we become established or stabilized in the unbroken realization of the self. We constantly remember the self or sun we are, which is mastery. Yes, we still live in the world of the five senses, but though the clouds, coverings, or vrittis come and go, we do not get caught up in them. More so, we are able to live in the world in such a way we help remove the clouds or vrittis for others. However, this is not an easy practice, and as Patanjali revealed, there is much more to this discipline than meets the eye. The word samadhi is actually made up of the word sama, meaning upright, impartial, just, good, or virtuous, and adi, that means over and above. So we might say that samadhi is the revelation of the virtuous, just, good, impartial self, that like the sun may appear at first to be over and above us. The more we enter samadhi, however, the more we experience that self inside us. Christ in you, the hope of glory, and the kingdom of God is within you, the Christian Bible says. So it is not just a matter of restraining or rising above the vrittis, sensations, emotions, thoughts, sense of separated self that block the self. It is a matter of becoming that self by infusing our realization of being the self into all the vrittis, so we reveal the self we always already are into the manifested world. As we compare what we have learned in our introduction to the Yoga Sutras to the Alice Bailey model, the first thing we notice are 7 different planes or levels in her model. Those planes or levels are physical, emotional, mental, intuitional or buddhic, spiritual or atmic, monadic, and divine. The divine plane is also known as the plane of Adi or the plane of the Logos. That Logos or word is our planetary Logos or Earth. Adi is a word that is also found within the word Samadhi, and essentially it means over and above. Our planetary Logos certainly is over and above all humans in terms of consciousness, but it is also all around as well as within everything that exists within our Earth. At the heart of every human being, we are also told we have a spark, a monad, that keeps our consciousness locked into the ring past knot of our planet Earth. That monad expresses itself as something known as the spiritual triad that allows this monad to see into human realms. It is above human realms, but it can see through and into human consciousness through the spiritual triad. That spiritual triad is comprised of Atma or Sat, higher mind or Chit, and Ananda or Buddhi. Sat Chit Ananda or Atma Buddhi Manas is also known as the true self, and it is the highest level of consciousness humans can reach before they are no longer human as we understand the word human. Now that monad, reflected as Sat Chitananda or Atma Buddhi Manas, is covered by vrittis. And the Yoga Sutra is teaching us how to restrain the modifications or movements of these vrittis, chitta, vritta, nirodha. Nirodha, restrain the modifications, the vrittis of the mind, the chit, so that we can uncover and reveal the true self we are. But how is this done? All of this is accomplished through a series of disciplines or yogic practices that allow us for uncovering layer upon layer of the vrittis. Through Hatha Yoga, we uncover the physical layer by restraining the difficulties within the physical body that distract us from meditation practice that can help us discover who we really are as the true self. Through Laya or Kundalini and also Kriya Yoga, we uncover the layers in the etheric or vital body by purifying the chakras enough and the associated nadis so that the energy of the true self runs freely through the body without difficulty. Through Bhakti Yoga, we uncover the layers of the emotional body that interfere with our realizing the true self because we are desiring too much of the world out there. And we're having unhealthy desires that prevent us from discovering the spiritual nature of the true self. We also are learning through Bhakti what real love is all about. Now, in modern times, to let you know, psychotherapy can also help here as it deals with emotional traumas and triggers, and any kind of training that teaches us to better understand our emotions and work with them in a healthier way. Through Jnana Yoga, we uncover the layers of the mental body because the mental body also possesses the egoic lotus or the soul or the ahamkara, which tends to believe that it is separate. It has a dual approach. And that sense of I-ness has to be destroyed. The causal body, it's called, the egoic lotus, has to be destroyed so that we truly live in non-dual reality while we function in a seemingly dual world. Now, the glamours in the Bailey books are especially helpful for breaking the sense of I-ness in the ahamkara or the soul, the egoic lotus or causal body. Raja Yoga, which is what the Yoga Sutras mainly teach, is the essential training for how to go into samadhi. Samadhi teaches us how to go above the mental plane. As long as we are thinking, we are not in the higher levels of samadhi. The beginning levels of samadhi teach us concentrated, focused thought, usually around one single thought, known as a seed thought or an alambana. But to get into the triad, we must release the mind. We must stop thinking because that's a layer of the mental level. And that's what the higher samadhis are all about. And that's what the Yoga Sutras teach us to eventually enter into. And we're going to learn all about this kind of thing in future trainings. And there's also already present video series within the patreon.com Soul to Spirit channel that you can go and look at.